So, of course, this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice. I am rejoicing. I'm glad in it. Um, so it's just today is it's 5/27 and it's May 26th. I was oh, you know what? That's a month before the boys' so-called dad's birthday. Anyway, my God allowed me to be graced with the presence of my daughter and her to be graced with my presence. She finally came to the house, acting like she was scared to come in, didn't want to step in. I'm like, girl, this is where you have resided at. Basically, this is where your name is on the lease at. This is where you. So that was still trippy to me, but she remained calm and she was and it definitely was graceful. I was able to finally get her that meal that I wanted, but I didn't eat it with her, but I was able to give it to her and let her experience that. That's what I wanted. Like, I mean, 'cause that's what I had been doing, eating with my kids and stuff like that. Um, but I'm just grateful. God had told me like 2 weeks ago, it's not in vain, and I poured out crying and stuff like that. Well, I really more so praying rather than crying, but I think I might have shed some tears, and I was just, to God be all the glory. I don't know if I don't know. I don't know what this day is significant for, but I know it's a significant day for me because my daughter, you know what I'm saying, came back to the house. So she was able to interact with me and her brothers and have I didn't want to rush or anything. I felt a little rushed because his so-called mama brought her here and she just sat out in front of my house, not on my side of the street. She sat on the other side of the street and sat out in front of there and just was waiting on her or whatever. And so, me just trying to be the respectful person that I am, but I really don't have no respect for these people. I was just like, girl, you want some water? I was talking to my daughter. I did offer her the girl some water or whatever. She didn't want none, but I but I yeah, I didn't want her sitting there watching me interacting with my daughter or nothing like that because I'm not on that. But she brought her or whatever. But it's the one she brought her physically and naturally. But it's God's will being done. So I don't know if she felt the need to, if she felt moved or whatever. But I guess they was riding through the neighborhood because they still come through here. They got these nice cars and things like that. Keep getting new cars and stuff like that. And it's nothing wrong with having nice things, but when you allow those nice things to have you, or you allow them to make you feel like you're better than somebody else and all type of stuff, yes, you can be in a better situation than somebody else, but and especially by appearances, but then you don't even understand that your insides is messy. But yeah, she gave me some information. I've been waiting on information mainly. It's not that I ain't want to see my daughter, because when God tell me that He got my children, He got them better than I do. So who am I to really question God and be like, Lord, um, yeah, what you doing with my kids? I mean, I think that I do have a good enough relationship with him where I can, but he the one that created them. He the one that formed them in my womb. So it's like, what? How can the creation question the creator? And so I leave it at that or whatever. But and I literally did ask God. I was like, Lord, send my child home. And I don't know what day it was that I said that, but I was like, Lord, send my child home. And of course I want her to reside here, but I also don't want her deprived of getting that so-called daddy daughter type stuff. Um and just, um having that, because I didn't. She got something, she's getting experiences with her so-called dad that I didn't. I got, I had experiences with my so-called dad, but I didn't have pleasant ones. Like, it wasn't, what I'm saying? It was other stuff that was clouding it and stuff like that. But anyway, I don't know how she feels internally. I hope she's okay. I did ask her, is she okay wherever she is? And she claimed her and the boys and her so-called dad's girlfriend or whatever. Uh, Haven't been speaking, talking about she go in her room and she go in her. That's the other thing. I just pray that God be in the midst regarding my daughter, because people do crazy stuff. So I don't know. But it was good. Then I find out that she have been interacting with my so-called my mom and them. Then went to the mountains. It was a trip that she took when she was little, and went to the mountains and stuff like that. And I did feel a type of way, because I still feel like y'all are giving opportunities, and it's wrong to my daughter, and I haven't got all this that I believe is due to me, like my inheritance and whatever that entails. But of course, I'm not the one going around them. I feel like I was led away from, being around them and stuff like that. But maybe it's for short term, maybe it's forever, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it's permanent. Because even when my so-called stepdad, my previously called stepdad, came over here like 2 days ago. So he came over here the day before, then my daughter came over here the next day. Because I was just adamant that I don't want nobody coming to my house and showing up at my house if it's not my child. And I had said, the next person that show up at my house, I want it to be my daughter. And that was, you know what I'm saying? That wasn't quite it. He showed up, but he wasn't coming in. And then when she got here, she barely wanted to step in, but we sat outside even after. But that was basically that's pretty much what happened. And I want stuff done in an orderly manner. And I want, and of course I want people to repent and stuff like that. I do feel like, hey, y'all done been going on, carrying on this long like this and haven't repented. So why would I ask God to help y'all to repent? I really feel like y'all need to do that on your own. But anyway, yep, he showed up the next thing I know. And I was just resting, relaxing and stuff like that. I wasn't thinking about my daughter. I don't think I had no dreams or nothing about my daughter. She said she was in school, and she said she was in school, and she left early because some teacher was, I guess, agitating her. She said she got into a fight with somebody, and she said the girl beat her up. And I'm like, Lord, that's the stuff that I was trying to avoid with my child. Like, plus, girl, you can't be getting beat up. You got to reign supreme out here. So, I don't like that or whatever. But that stuff that her so-called dad left her open to, those types of attacks and those types of things. I can't stand it. I don't like that. I've been trying to be that mama bear and protect all my kids, baby. And so, I did notice when she stepped in, I was like, girl, it's a mess in here. She was like, it's okay. Which, this is where she lived at before, so she knows. But, you know how it be sometimes. But, and she told me, because I remember before she left, she was asking me, she was saying, I want to see my, my dad's dad or whatever. So I found him on Facebook and showed him a picture. And so now he's dead. He died from COVID, I guess she said, last year or whatever. And this is the thing I had been saying before, that man ain't off the radar. And I'm saying today, none of them are off the radar. Like, all of them who contributed to teaming up to, like, trying to come against me. Yes, come against the will of God, but even me, because I'm special to God. I belong to God, and you know what I'm saying? And trying to pressure me and get me to do stuff. Trying to put that pressure on me to get me to do stuff to get out of the will of God. Whatever. So one of the very ones showed up here. Well, not just one. Of course, my so-called, my previously called stepdad as well. He was less on the inside of it, but, I'm sure he's done seen and heard stuff. And then, yeah, taking my kids places and stuff like that and doing all that. And again, in a disorderly manner and fashion, and not encouraging her to be around her mom and have a relationship. My daughter done been to California, which is awesome. I ain't been over there or whatever, but she done been to California. She done been to places that I ain't been, and I think that's amazing. But I don't like that I haven't been included, and I don't like that it haven't been done the right way, where she does have her mom right there. Yes, she got God watching over her, and God is way better. He's a better keeper than me. But I do believe that I'm supposed to be in my kids' lives. I prayed over them. I dedicated them back to God. Granted, I know it might not look like what I wanted to look like, but I'm supposed to be an actively involved parent, period. I'm not a deadbeat mom. So that was them literally holding her hostage and trying to brainwash her and keep her away from me and stuff like that. But some of them by mouth, oh, you seen your mama, but ain't encouraging. Now, what her so-called grandma did today, as far as, oh, you want to see your mom and bring her out here, that's between her and God. But that doesn't count for nothing to me. That means absolutely nothing when you're the type that would legally kidnap my daughter. And I'm just like, oh, for real? My daughter came back with braces and stuff like that. And it's not that I don't approve of that, because I had braces when I was younger. I was brainwashed and thinking that that's what we're supposed to be doing too. But that's just not a priority thing. That's not the stuff we need to be worrying about, because you're worrying about the outer appearance and how stuff look or whatever. Got my daughter, of course, in Jordans. And then he done messed around and told her some story about the girl he was with when she died on the highway, talking about this what it was. She asked me, did you want to see something? And then she just went out and got herself hit. I knew this girl before she passed on. I'm not saying, I know she was sad and she was living, you know what I'm saying, living a certain type of way, but I don't know. I feel like my daughter's so-called dad is such a liar and a deceiver that, and maybe he could have forgot some stuff, but such a liar and a deceiver that he telling stuff the wrong way, and he just not, I don't know, I feel like he's not being honest. But that's my feelings. That's not necessarily, again, anything God revealed to me. God didn't reveal to me that he had anything to do with that girl's murder, but he also told it to me different when he was younger. So but anywho, but yeah, and then them teachers played a role last year in not having me to get my daughter. They interfered, so let it be done according to God's will. Let God avenge. Let him show up. And that when you give it to God, guess what? If God never does anything or allows for them to go through anything, painful or anything, that's what it is. But if he does, then you know what I'm saying? You do reap what you sow. My daughter done been around people that's been got shot, more fights and stuff. She's saying she okay. She said she went to the prom, 8th grade prom, I guess, and all that. And then she said there's been reminders and stuff. She said they've been passing by here, but there's been reminders of my, I guess, my household, because the little girls or whatever across the street be putting the videos on that little whatever it is, not Snapchat, I guess, no more, but I guess Instagram or whatever. I told her, honey, you need to disconnect from them. You don't need to be being on there with them. Then she told me that and I didn't mention who came, but it was a sibling last year on my so-called dad's side, came last year, September-ish. And she told me, I was one of the first ones that she told she was pregnant. That she was pregnant again. This was finna be like her fourth or fifth child by another guy. And that was that. And she ended up, now I was just told that she ended up rolling over or sleeping or whatever on the child, and the child died. So, that would have been heavy to me had I been interacting with them, but it's just not. It is what it is. I'm not doing all that with y'all. I'm not on that. I'm not getting in them rituals. I'm not getting in that Masonic stuff. I don't like that stuff. That's why, honestly, I like people that's on the internet exposing stuff that's really going on, where people really doing some messed up stuff, a lot of times in the name of money, but just sometimes just in vain, just for the sake of vanity, being vain. Oh, I got something more than you. I'm better than you. And, of course, where the country came from racially and stuff like that. Where the country came from racially and stuff like that. With the slavery and all that stuff, and people pulling a race card and trying to start a race war and all, or create the enemy wants a race war and all that. So black people that feel like, hey, well, we own something now, we doing something different now. The sun was coming out, but it's getting a little bit dark again. But yeah, we own something now. We got some stuff now. We can hide under our stuff and behind our stuff. And I understand that, but I try not to live like that. You get something, that don't mean you treat people bad, or you look down on them and you call them all these names or whatever the case may be. You don't do that. You don't treat people like that. And again, for vanity and stuff like that, they walking around by appearance, they look nice or whatever and look cleaned up, but honey, them insides is just a mess. And her so-called grandma tried to say something to me and speak to me, and I definitely rolled my eyes, and I'm letting you know what it is. It ain't what you think. I don't deal with you. And evidently she's sitting around talking about her son and stuff, and that's between them. I am not getting in that mess, baby. When I got away from them people, I was definitely trying to get away from her, but when I got away from both of them collectively, I'm staying away. So I just continue to pray. My daughter goes in these environments with them. That And either choose to remain in them environments that you just, honey, you be real careful. Cause it ain't good. It ain't good. I did give her social security card because I guess she feel like for passports and want to go places. She said Jamaica or something like that. But I don't, hey, get a chance to go places that I ain't been and stuff like that, I have no problem. It just, my issue is that it needs to be done right and orderly. And I feel like, hey, after this, maybe my day's coming. I'm not necessarily trying to go really out of the country. I can, but I'm not necessarily trying to go um, out of the country and stuff like that right now. But just wherever she be going, I be wanting her to be careful, be safe. I'm trusting God with her. It felt good to hug her and embrace her. I had laid in that room last night anyway, in the room where she used to, stay and sleep in. And that was kind of weird for me. And I was like thinking to myself, Lord, when can I get out? Because I laid in there at a certain time, and then I didn't go out until like 11 something. I was like, Lord, when can I go out? And then I just stopped complaining. I was like, Lord, you know what? This right here is even better than being in a jail cell or anything like that. Even though I feel like I couldn't leave out of that room for a while, I said it feels better than being in a jail cell. I felt like I was grieving, doing some grief, for some of the kids that have been shot and killed and stuff lately and all that. The mass shootings and stuff like that, but I was still adamant that, hey, although I know they're going through stuff, guess what? When something going on over here with me, I'm going through it. Ain't nobody else. I'm not saying that God can't move on somebody else to help with your grieving process, but my daughter been displaced out of my household, and nobody was over here giving no care, no concern. And to me, I feel like it's just the utmost disrespect. It's so wrong and it's so foul. Nobody been over here agreeing with me, so why do I have to partake? If the Spirit of God don't move on me to do that, then why do I gotta partake in that? But I did continue to think, these are parents that will not get to hug their children no more, this, that, and third, alive on this side. And me, I wanted to hug my child, and I just hope and pray and trust God that this won't be the last time. That I have many more and plenty more hugs from all my children, and just be able to love on them and stuff like that. And I was doing a lot of fast talking because I didn't know. I didn't know where. I didn't know where. I didn't know how long she was gonna decide to be here, and it was kind of up to her. But I let her know you're still a minor child, so it's really not. But it's like, and I was able to get her something. It was about a good hour and a half, 2 hours. His mom's steady sitting there. That's on her. Girl, that's the type of life you want to live. Cause I'm not gonna do that with y'all. I'm not gonna sit around and just watch y'all interact with my child. And that's why I don't really care to go too many places that they may be or whatever. But she said she's a majorette or something like that for something. She was telling me some stuff regarding her dad, but I don't care nothing about that. I just care about her safety and how she's feeling, definitely, and stuff like that. And one thing I know is that when you have a child out of wedlock and then that child feel divided, that comes back. That's on the parents. The parents did it. She said something about her rib been hurting, her right rib, my left rib been hurting. So I don't know. She seemed like she got a concern about one of the dudes that got a girlfriend or whatever. Maybe she has a care and a concern about him, and I think that's good. But he got a girlfriend. I told her, I said, do not get in that mess with them. But just definitely the fact that that so-called granddaddy, one of her so-called granddaddies, is gone. He dead, and we've been seeing people. My daughter was looking at me like, Mom, when I give God the praise because somebody have been removed or whatever the case may be, and make room or make way for, yeah, I sure do. So that means, I guess, her so-called granddad died when her so-called dad was 34. I haven't interacted with my so-called dad. I guess she's seen him more recent than me, and I don't know how recent it's been, but she's seen him more recent than me. She was giving me some information, which that's what I want. And also just, I hugged her, I prayed while I was hugging her, and again, just trust God with her. Trust God with with my kids, my boys in the house. They got to interact. They was hugging their sister. They got to show her that they can swim and stuff like that. And I just, I want her to be free to be able to be interacting with us. You're not gonna be. I don't want you to be on no ball and chain or held hostage or somebody sitting across the street waiting. I told her I could get her wherever she needed to go. Yeah, she just chose to let her so-called grandma come pick her up and stuff like that. And she looks good. My son had a dream that she was in a wheelchair, and I was just like, I didn't have the dream, so I didn't know what to think. But I was like, Lord, I don't want no paralyzed. I don't. It's not that I'm looking down on that. But I'm like, I don't want nothing to happen to my daughter where she's paralyzed or anything. I think it was more spiritual, that where she might have to depend on certain people or something like that. I don't know, because when you're in a wheelchair, you might be a little more dependent, especially if you wasn't like that before, and not necessarily a physical wheelchair. But anyway, it's definitely a good day. But every day before this has been a good day. It's been the day that the Lord had made, and I've been rejoicing. I've been feeling good, and that's just that. She did come home, and one of them so-called neighbors, the female one, she seen her. They seen what they seen what it is, and even the other ones from across the street, they seen. I mean, it's no coincidence. They all was outside when I was interacting with my child, and so and she reminded me of one of my cousins when I was, and honestly, the girl was my favorite cousin when I was younger. But she also was one she was like the same age as me, but she was like molesting me and putting her hands and stuff on me and stuff like that in inappropriate ways. And I don't know why she kept looking like her to me. That was just, oof, it was kind of bothersome. But at the same time, it's like it's not so bad. But I don't even interact with her no more. Because, like I said, I want stuff done according to God's will regarding me and my kids. I don't want nothing else. I wasn't trying to fight with God, contend, or nothing like that. I just was praying. Even my son been fasting here lately, and maybe he just been caused to fast just for that, for a breakthrough. And I asked God for a breakthrough. Glasses broke the last time, and I heard from her. And so this time, nothing broke this time, but something definitely probably broke spiritually. But to keep somebody's child away from them and help, that's just crazy to me. It's beyond. Like, I never engaged in that even when the boy's so-called dad had one of his other kids over here, and the girl wanted her child. I'm like, girl, I would never. To me, it is the ultimate disrespect, but, it's also, I believe that God cares about that. When you really care about your children, and God knows I really care about my children. She kept saying she didn't know if she wanted to come here because she didn't know if I was going to tell her to leave or something like that. Girl, I love you. I'm not finna dismiss you like that now. I got to do what I got to do. I have to be obedient, but I'm not finna dismiss you. No, I carried you. Girl, please. So I just want that more time with her where I'm not going to feel rushed or nothing like that. And I don't know how I feel as far as her still interacting with her dad. Like, because me personally, I don't care. It's not a jealousy thing. It's not like, girl, I didn't have my dad in my life like that, so you don't need yours. It's just the fact that I don't feel like he's on a straight and narrow. And again, these are my feelings, but I don't feel like he's on the straight and narrow. I have had dreams where I guess he might have been trying or something, but maybe, I don't know if he's trying in his own strength. I don't know. But are you using my daughter to get some kind of strength? That's not good. That means you trying to steal life from her. And I wasn't trying to really bring up old stuff to her, but I was trying to still state the facts and the truth of the matter of what's been going on. And I told her, you can probably invite me to some stuff, but honey, I don't really want to interact with them people. I don't care for them. And honey, and I asked her, was he married? He's still shacking up and living with a female, and you're not showing her no positive example. And his so-called mama's still all in it. Just all in it. But she claimed the daddy's so-called girlfriend is leaving the house or the place or whatever. And I'm not going to say she shouldn't have been there in the first place, but she shouldn't have been there thinking that you're supposed to get comfortable around my daughter as far as, whatever y'all got going on. And I actually preferred another girl for him, but it ain't my choice, of course. But honey, he really need to, a lot of these men and males need to be by themselves because they've been bed hopping and community dicking for so long and having all these kids everywhere that they just need to be by themselves. Females can get by themselves and get along and hear from God, but so much going on in this world. I don't like to hear that my child done got beat up by somebody. That, like, she said her nose was bleeding. That stuff not fun. You can die from that, fights and stuff, and you still, even after that, you still want to be in stuff like that. Like, ugh, I just pray. I do pray for a mind renewal and a mind change. Like, that she can be shaken. If she, I'm not saying she's asleep, but she quickened by the Spirit of God to let her know, and this ain't the place for you. This not the environment. Even though you might want to, and if it's hard to pull away from stuff, but I really don't know how God wants, wants her to be in life, especially now that she's been gone. But I also just don't know what God's plans and stuff for her as far as how she's supposed to be living. So I just pray that she do hear from God, she take heed, and she's obedient. And then going back to, I'm not trying to go back to, but thinking about the voices so-called dad. Again, you don't want a place to call, and I told her, I just let her know. I feel like he didn't want you getting whatever money or whatever's coming in the household for his boys, and I feel like it's understandable. But I feel like there's a right and a wrong way to go about doing it. But I feel like some part of me feel like that's the risk you gotta take when you're dealing with a woman who has a child that's already there, and you know what I'm saying, and you grow to learn and love and care about that child. But that's what he did, and baby, his birthday is a month from now. I ain't even saying Lord willing he lived to see it, but I'm just saying his birthday is a month from now, and hey. You got a older daughter out here too, and you still got older children, of course, boys over here with me, but let it be done according to God's will. I feel good, but of course, I don't want my time shortened with my daughter. I want to be there with her, spend time with her and stuff like that, interact with her on a regular basis, because again, I never thought my daughter would be out of my vicinity, out of this vicinity. But yeah, so I just pray wherever she go, wherever her feet tread, wherever she touch down at this weekend, that she is safe. And this is no coincidence that this is the day that my sons had to run through. This is the day that she saw me, and then that girl was, I guess, leaving, packing her stuff and leaving. Bye. And it's not I'm putting you out, it's just the fact that my daughter's so-called dad needs to be able to spend time with her and interact with her. He's still, I guess, moving back and forth, having different places and stuff like that. Meanwhile, I'm in the same place, so people think I'm not doing nothing, but it's none of y'all business. It's neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying? It's just not y'all place to dictate. But his so-called mama tried to say, "Oh yeah, hers looking just like yours." Girl, don't talk to me, because I don't deal with you. And I told her at one point in time, it was looking like we would never be friends and stuff like that. What are you doing? Trying to get on your swing?
Looks like the small one.
Yeah, it was the same color. Yes, it was, but it's not. I sent that one back.
I know. It just looks like the small one.
And she was too busy worrying about the textures of my son's hair and stuff like that. One of my sons got some different texture hair. Oops, I put the wrong chargers on the wrong thing. I need to switch them. Don't step on my stuff. You can climb, but don't step on my cord, please. Yeah, or you can move that cover down, or you can step on the. No, when you get over there, or you can step on the other side where the cover is not at. Anyway, she was thinking about the textures of my son's hair. I said, honey, y'all don't have the same daddy. Thank God I ain't got multiple baby daddies, but I got two is enough. And I said, y'all don't got the same daddy, so y'all hair. But she got some of hers. It looked like she had. I'm like, I hope you ain't permed your hair. And she said, no, I just been getting it straightened. I'm like, Lord have mercy. Girl, where your natural texture? Just drop it on the ground, it's fine. She seems like she's okay, but we just know that things in this world is not right, and especially when you started out disorderly or you didn't do things right, it may get to a point where it never gets right or right enough for you. But nah, that ain't the same car. But you gotta deal with it. Well, she is not coming right back. She said she was going to the beach. You just pray and you just let God when it's God's timing to send her back and have her come here, it was a reason why she was able to see you and interact with you. Y'all got the same last name. Y'all belong to God. As long as you give your life to God, y'all will get on the same wavelength and y'all will be able to interact with each other. Because she definitely been interacting with other people that I feel like she is disorderly and she just probably shouldn't have. But I did it when I was younger. I interacted with some of my relatives and stuff when I was younger, and now I just don't see them no more. I don't be around them because I'm not doing what they're doing. I'm not trying to partake in what they partake in. I'm really trying to live my life right, and I just wanted different stuff for myself. But what he in there doing? Still watching TV?
Yes, he's still watching this TV, I think.
And so yeah. But anyway, so it's a good day. I'll probably be on here some more to talk about some more stuff because I just definitely wanted to. I didn't take no